Blog Talk Radio.
Race fans, welcome to the most listened to show on the 110 Nation Radio Network. When it's hot, it's hot. Presenting you the caution flag of racing radio, the DJ Music Man, and the Tasmanian Devil of Flaggers. Here's your host, Chris, Craig, and Taz.
All right, race fans, how the hell are you? It's another episode of Race Chat Live. I've got with me my co-host, Mr. Tad Taylor, and the one and the only Craig Moore here in the studio with me. Fellas, how are you?
Man, what a race in Austin this past weekend. I'm telling you. If you didn't like any of that racing from the Truck Series to the Cup Series, you got issues, and you need to go back watching Matchbox racing, I guess. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was amazing. The car definitely withstood the test. And I believe, we walked away with a brand new winner. I don't know if anybody but Craig Moore made that pick. Absolutely.
Well, I don't know. I heard somebody on Sirius yesterday morning say something about that as well. Yesterday afternoon, talking to Moody, that he said that Chastain was going to win, and. Sooner or later you get a bunch of seconds, like Chase Elliott a few years ago. Remember that, Chris? He was second, he was third, he was the bridesmaid, he was the flower girl, but he was never the bride. And then all of a sudden, bam, he became the bride.
Yeah, he broke out for sure.
So,
and we watched Kyle Larson as well when he first went to Hendrick. He could have won the first 5 races last year, but he just did not know how to close out. And then, of course, he went on fire and won 10 races. Taz Taylor, are you there?
He is. His little pick is his little one is a tad bit upset. He said so. He's he's on.
I do not have my phone in front of me. I was a little bit late getting into the studio here, but we got a lot to talk about. The truck race. I got that. Also, the Xfinity race and the Cup race. They all 3 raced this weekend at Cota, the Circuits of America. Zane Smith, you pulled that one out as well. You got 2 victories this week. Zane Smith come home, and he didn't win it by dominating the race, that's for sure. But a tip of the hat to the Front Row Motorsports number 38 truck and Zane Smith for capitalizing and being where they needed to be. My biggest takeaway from the truck race was, my gosh, man, this is the arc of talent, I believe, that we were watching a few years ago that just wrecked every damn thing, and it's kind of like they're still wrecking everything, Craig. Truck racing was such a big thing for us for a long time. They've got some maturing to do down there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean the beating and banging on the last lap I get. But when you're wrecking in the first stage, when you're wrecking people in the first and second stage. Yeah, I mean they put stage racing in there to make it exciting and give people something to run for, and that they have. But it's also created a junkyard effect. We need to get everything we can get in the first 10 laps. Well, as Dale told Dale Jr. one time, you don't win the race on the first lap. And, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of that in the Truck Series.
Yeah, and, Denny Hamlin kind of touched on this. We'll present that later on, talk about it. That basically racers these days are not the same racers that they were. There's no give and take. It's a dog eat dog world, and that brings up an interesting question that was on door bumper clear. Is it a sport or is it entertainment? And I believe Freddie Kraft said it best, or Brett Griffin said it. He said that these guys are willing to spend this money and go out here and put their head on the line because they believe that it's a sport. And, I thought sports was supposed to be entertaining, so I don't know if there's much of a separation between the two, really. If sports is not entertaining, it's probably not going to be a popular sport. So if we're checking both boxes and asking the question, is it one or the other, we're benefiting from it, I guess, regardless. Great.
Well, I think when they went to entertainment, I think part of that is the stage racing. I think because I heard some of that too, not on Door Bumper Clear, but I heard a few of that last week on Sirius. That topic was brought up, and they brought entertainment into it when they brought in the stage racing, because now everybody's, as I alluded to a couple minutes ago, everybody's racing. Like everybody's racing every lap like it's the last lap of the race, because every spot is crucial. When you're getting down to the end of the stage, you need to be in the top 10.
It's not benefiting the owners, right? Because
no, it's not.
This is what the fans want. Am I correct?
Say that again, Chris. I'm sorry, you were breaking up.
This is what the fans want, right? I mean, this is the type of racing we've been waiting for, correct? I mean, it's not the Dale Jr. we all get messed up in the pasture on Monday night type racing. I think Dale's biggest problem was he was too nice, and he was friends with everybody, where his father was he was the man's man. Everybody looked up to him. He was the king of the garage, outside of Richard Petty, of course. But I believe that he influenced a completely different crowd of people than what Dale Jr. Dale Jr., everybody that come below him wanted to be his buddy. And so, he found out for several years that they wanted to be his buddy outside the garage, but they definitely didn't help him out on the racetrack. And that was a big lesson for him to learn. But that day and age of that kind of racing is over with. And I guess so goes the couch, right? Those who sleep over on people's couches, because that's kind of how that gentleman's sport was. But these days, I think they all keep themselves secluded in their motorhomes.
Oh, absolutely. And you're getting back to Dale, the difference between Dale and Dale. Dale Earnhardt, Dale Sr. was the garage leader, and Dale Jr. was the garage partier. Two different styles. Whereas people, like you said, people wanted to be Junior's friends because off the track, but on the track, well, they didn't want to work with him too much. Which I understand. I mean, everybody's in the sport to win a race. If you're not there to get a checkered flag, then
they knew that Junior was not senior, and you could actually kind of run over Junior a little bit, and he would take it.
Right.
And I think that's what that kind of hurt his career later on when he went to Hendrick, and basically he had the best deal around. Everybody was like, "Hey, man, this is the cookie you bake." So we're here to beat you. And I think that he learned from that and become a better racer. And these racers are going to learn from that as well. There's still old school out there. So, but we had Bowman and we had Bush in this race. That was crazy. 3 wide. Who was it? Was it Friesen? Who was in that 3 wide?
It was Friesen, Kyle Busch, and Alex Bowman.
I mean, that's priceless right there. That'll go down as one of the craziest things I've seen on the racetrack.
I have to give kudos to Kyle Busch. He handled it. I was just listening to his interview. He handled it like a Kyle Busch I've never heard before. There wasn't, let me just answer so I don't get fined style answers. It was, hey, I hate it. KBM gave me a great machine. Well, of course they're going to give you a great machine. You write the checks.
Yeah.
Or you sign the checks. The crew guys did a hell of a job. I just hate it for them, but it happens.
Right.
Stark contrast to what Alex Bowman and AJ Allmendinger said on Sunday, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, we got to close out this segment real quick in the truck series, but I want to give the final rundown, at least the top 10. The 10th place finisher was Grant Enfinger. Stuart Friesen finished 9th after that incident there. He had a tire issue and had to limp it back. So great job on finishing in the top 10. Carson Kosovar finished in the 8th spot. Tyler Ankrum in the 7th spot. Christian Eckes finished in the 6th spot. Chandler Smith in the 5th spot. Ben Rhodes, Kyle Busch, John Hunter Nemechek, and, of course, the eventual winner, Zane Smith. Other news, quick news out of the truck series is, I think you know this one, don't you, buddy? Jessica Friesen is returning to the trucks at Bristol and Knoxville dirt races. So we'll see Jessica Friesen back at number 62, Halmar Friesen, Toyota Tundra. So exciting news there.
We'll have to see if she can even qualify for him.
Well, there was issues last time, but she did really well when the one that she did get to race. So,
right.
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely looking forward to seeing that. We skip over to the Xfinity news. Surprise, surprise, surprise! The Dinger gets it done. Really a big surprise there, though, Craig. I don't believe
really.
It was that big of a surprise.
No, not really. I mean, I only didn't take him because I usually jinx him and Al Guy. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to leave them alone. Well, wish I would have taken him because then I would have had 3 for 3.
Oh, man, that's bonus points there. So, let's see. As I scroll through, I'm trying to think of any of the big things that happened in the Xfinity race. I guess it was a good race. I really, maybe I missed it. I don't know. I know I've seen AJ win, but
well, I didn't hear a lot of rumblings on social media this week or on Sirius about the Xfinity race and people being upset. So all in all, I believe it was because normally that's where you're going to hear about it. But in all fairness, and
right, well, Ty Gibbs was
really
a favorite early.
About it anyway.
Ty Gibbs was an early favorite, but situations put him trying to catch up for the rest of the evening. Austin Hill, big surprise. Not really. He's doing wonders in the RCR number 21. Cole Custer was one of the Cup guys that was racing in this race. Jade Buford picks up a top 10 finish. Some people probably say who, but I think with a name like Jade Buford, we should remember that guy. Parker Kligerman, man. Oh, man. What a hell of a run he had as well. Taking a no-name number 35 and ran up front most of the day, but finished 12th.
What do we have for Dash for Cash qualifiers? Because that's coming up this weekend at Richmond, which Richmond always proves to be a good. Well, I
don't know. Richmond's been I thought Richmond's been kind of a snooze fest.
Well, that's why
Miguel Pilato.
That's why I stopped saying that, because I say that and then, I'm trying to remember back to the last exciting Richmond race, and I can't remember that far back.
Yeah, I'm looking at the bottom of the list. Some notables: Bubba Wallace finished 28th. I believe he had issues. Riley Hurst coming off a good finish, right back in the back for 26th. Josh Berry, one of my favorites to pick, he finished 27th. It's Brandon Brown finished 20th. So, it was a good race. I guess when you can't remember too much about it, you shouldn't probably spend too much time on it. Notables.
Can you see who the Dash for Cash qualifiers are? Miss Lee wants to know.
Yeah, I'm seeing if I can find that. I'm at j.com at the moment. Ryan Priest driving for BJ McLeod at Richmond in the Xfinity Series. So, I don't see the Dash for Cash. I know Miss Lee mentioned it, but I don't see. I'm not seeing any information about that on JQ.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for that, I don't know about you, Chris, but I'm gonna talk about the semi-black flag, checker flag segment. But the end of the race was phenomenal, and the end of the Cup race was phenomenal. I wasn't able to catch the first two stages, but I was able to catch most of the last stage, and it was a phenomenal race. The last stage had you, the last 2-3 laps, actually 10 laps, had you on the edge of their seat. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and I want to know what you think about this. In dirt racing, when there's a yellow flag, the laps don't count. I understand why they don't do it on the oval courses or on the road courses, because, God, it would take forever. But why don't they do it on the 1.5-mile tracks? Why doesn't NASCAR do that? They change the rules for competition cautions and things like that. I'm just curious to see what you know. You there?
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
I can now. I don't know what happened, but you were gone.
I have no idea what happened either. It gave a dial tone, and yeah. So I called in on an open line instead of in the host line. But sorry about that. Miss Lee did send us over the Dash for Cash. I don't know where you were, but let's pick up on this real quick and we'll come back. The Dash for Cash, JRM's Gregson Mayer surge into Dash for Cash program, joining Allmendinger, Hill, in opening field. Noah Gregson, Sam Mayer, so Austin Hill, and AJ Allmendinger.
Well, I mean, they'll have a really good shot of winning it, but I think your favorite has got to be AJ. I really think your favorite's got to be Dinger.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, that's Gregson and Hill are having a hell of a year as well. Surprised by Mayer. We haven't really heard much out of him, but he's had some solid finishes. As for Noah Gregson, I think this is his breakout year. This is where he says, he's ready to move up, right? I mean, he's been one of the last cats to to get promoted, and I'm not sure if Brandon Jones or Ryan Sieg or even maybe an Austin Hill are going to make it to the top level of Cup racing. But Noah Gregson, he seems to be the next guy primed for that. Even Riley Herbst, I think, has a long way to go before you would see him moving up into a legit Cup ride. I think that it's going to be a hard one to push. But AJ also has a great organization behind him and some pretty powerful hitters. So it's going to be interesting as it goes down to the end of the year what happens. But for the Dash for Cash, man, I'm saying we cannot count out Gregson or Austin Hill. He's been the highlight of the series. That's for sure. But it's now time to talk about what we've seen in the Cup garage and what happened in the Cup race. Craig, I have no disappointment. I thought it was a great race. It was action all over the track. There was a great battle there at the end of the race. You always want to see it come down that way. Did Ross Chastain? Did he race AJ dirty, or did AJ race Ross dirty? Because when you move somebody, you've got to be
You've got to
prepared for
expect retaliation.
Yeah, did he make the move too early?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna put the bumper to somebody, as we used to say, the chrome horn, you've got to be able to. You need to know that it's coming back. Now.
Whoa, wait, are we talking about short track racing? Short track racing is racing. Where's Logano?
We're talking, the baby went to sleep. That's good.
Well, not necessarily, but Tom was trying to calm her down.
You have to, when you put the bumper to somebody, you got to know that when they recover, if they recover, they're coming to get you. And you can't fault Chastain. I don't care who it is. You can't fault Chastain for giving it back to him. Now, was Alex Bowman an unwitting participant in all that? Yeah, maybe. But,
where the heck did
he was
that
there.
come from? That's what I want to know. He was fixing
who, Bowman?
The old hack was about to back his way into another win.
Yeah, he was. I thought for sure that he was going to get another win. And I'm going to allude on this in a little bit, but listening to Alex Bowman reminded me a lot of Kyle Busch, just a cleaner version. I get that he was upset, but because he won one this year, he thinks he should win them all.
See, I don't know how you're acting like, where did Bowman come from? Because he finished third in stage 1. I don't know where he finished in stage 2. It wasn't the top 10, but, I mean, he ran up front for 2/3 of that race, at least.
Right, but nobody expected, I don't think any of us expected him to be in contention. We knew that he would be close, but he was right there. He was right there.
He went into turn 11 like I don't know, to 400 miles an hour faster than the rest of the field.
Yeah.
He was not. He was taking no prisoners. It just didn't work out for him. He made the right move, and he made it at the right time. But it was just somebody else's race to win. And the way that the car bounced, that AJ bounced off of Ross Chastain, that kind of sealed the deal there for Ross. It definitely kept the herd back.
Yeah, no, it was quite surprising. Now let me ask you a question. Dinger's comments after the race: sore loser, or dejected, or both?
I believe there at the last lap, they basically told Dinger to lay back and unless Bowman closes in, lay back. That's exactly what the spotter said, or somebody from his crew said. So
right,
when
and I heard that too.
When he went for it, I was like, oh, you know, like I've always said, I believe Trackhouse and Colleague Racing and Spire Motorsports, they're all kind of connected together, and they all have you know, certain people that are in common with each other. And you know, I think that was kind of a call to respect that, hey, this guy's racing his way for a chase, AJ. You know, don't race him. But hey, AJ Allmendinger did exactly what a racer would do. He's going out there to win. He wants to give his team, his guys, the best shot, even if it comes from the boss. He wants to give his guys the best finish that he can give, and if that meant going against team orders, then you know, I think that's what he did there. And he you know, I would much rather him race and make the mistake that he made than to do nothing at all. So if anybody could sit here and say that they didn't want him to do nothing at all, then I don't believe they're real race fans, or they're not stock car race fans. This is not Formula One racing. Race that guy. And A.J. Allmendinger would forever feel like he didn't. He could have had one. If he held back, he would have never known if he would have been the winner of that race or not. It didn't work out for him, but at least he gave the effort.
Now with Allmendinger, he's going to be like every other racer that's, you know, part-time and not really racing for points, because obviously Allmendinger's running full-time Xfinity and part-time Cup. Being that he's part-time Cup, of course, when he gets into that car, he's going to be chasing for wins instead of points, because, you know, he's not eligible for Cup points. So he's going to do whatever he's going to do for a win regardless. That's what most drivers in his circumstance are going to do.
So here's a question for you. If they race so many races in the Cup level, should they have to make a choice? Are they going to compete for Cup points or not?
Chastain was put in that spot a few years ago.
Right.
And Chastain made the jump.
Right. And that's kind of what I was getting at, was I get that he's not a full-time driver, so I heard it just like Chris did. Lay back, unless Bowman challenges. And then when I seen him make the move, I was like, oh.
Yeah, Bowman definitely challenged there in that corner. He did a dive bomb, but I believe that he learned a lesson from the truck race and tried to utilize that to his best interest, and it just did not work out for him. What in the world?
Showman Tech in the road course system.
I mean, it was a great race. What is that stat of the day you got, Taz?
All right, so stat of the day is going to be
7:30, guys.
Oh, my bad.
We're 2 minutes before.
All right. So stat of the day, we're going to jump a bit early because we got flag, checker flag stuff going on. But anyways, stat of the day. We had, if I'm counting this right, 9 different leaders. Yes, 9 different leaders. Hold on, I'm not done yet. 9 different leaders. The 2 lap leaders both came from Trackhouse. Ross Chastain with 31 and Suarez with 15. There were 13 lead changes. Now, amongst the Trackhouse, this is why I'm mentioning them big time, Chastain and Suarez led 67.6% of the laps at Cota between the two drivers at Trackhouse.
Say that again. He led what? 67%?
Chastain and Daniel Suarez, Trackhouse combined, led 67.6% of the laps. Chastain led 31 of the 68, and Suarez led 15 of the 68.
Amazing. Well, I'm telling you, I said it for 2 weeks in a row that they were a sleeper team, and if people didn't start taking them serious, it was going to come back to bite them, and it did. It's just, we said it earlier, Chris. You're only going to finish second so many times before before it becomes a reality. So, what else? Do we have any other stats? Go ahead, Taz.
Other than 9 cautions for 13 laps, so nearly a lap for a caution. I mean, I guess you can say that's kind of expected for road course racing, but.
Well, I think the whole weekend was just a stellar weekend for racing. I think that, if we get racing like that each and every week, what we had the week before and what we had this past week, we've got 6 different winners this year. Only 5 of them were first-time winners, if I'm not mistaken, because Bowman won, but he's been a repeat winner. Not this season, obviously, but...
And, hey, we've had different winners so far this year. And I have to double-check. I'm not sure. I have to look at the dual races. But if you count the Clash and, of course, Daytona 500 on, we've had different winners.
That's what I just said. We've had 6 different winners.
I'm going to double-check the Daytona dual.
Wow. That's amazing.
Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, yeah. So if you count the duels and the Clash, so we've actually had 8.
Right. How many of them are under 30?
I'm not sure 16 is locked in, man, at all.
No, it's not.
But here's the deal. You have to remember this. And this is where we had this conversation last year, and it's kind of already starting to pop in this year because look at the standings. Who's sitting on top? Mr. Face That Runs the place. He has no wins. Now, we had this conversation last year with Hamster, with Denny Hamlin, where he went winless. And we were thinking if we were going to hit 16 different winners, is Hamlin going to get the boot or somebody else with a win going to get the boot? Well, Elliott's in that same spot where if a driver wins regular season championship without a win, they get in and somebody gets the boot.
Well, I think if talking about Denny Hamlin, if he's going to go anywhere, it's going to be his own team, and you're going to see Bubba go bye-bye.
Well, that's something that I was waiting to talk about later on is the age of the, we all laughed at Hendrick Motorsports a few years ago when it was Daddy Daycare over there for Jimmy Johnson. But now it's paid off at Hendrick Motorsports, and they got a bunch of young guys that are that are running the place. And now Joe Gibbs is sitting there with probably the oldest fleet of drivers in the Cup garage: Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin. At some point in time, Joe Gibbs has got to pull the plug and send a couple of these guys to the nursing home.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin, I think, is the guy you'll see in making the next move outside of Joe Gibbs Racing. But let's get to the Black Flag news. Of course, there's a late penalty that come out last week. Taz, do you have that information in front of us? I believe it's
right
100 points.
Oh, yep.
$100,000 fine. Spread the actual.
So hold on, I got
do what?
So RFK Racing's appeal of the L2 level penalties assessed after the Cup Series race at Atlanta will be heard on April 7th.
44. So
Yeah, so they essentially get to keep their crew chief and their $100,000.
NASCAR officials confirmed Monday 3 members from the National Motorsports Appeals Panel are scheduled to meet and consider the appeal a week from Thursday. And the penalty was docking DK with 100 points, 10 playoff points, and a $100,000 fine and a 4-race suspension to Matt McCall, the crew chief. And that dropped Keselowski from 16th to 31st in the standings, and dropped to 34th in the points he moved up to 34th after the Cota race this weekend.
Well, I honestly think this is going to be the nail in the coffin for Keselowski. You have to, and I said this last week when we talked about it, you have to wonder if he's rethinking his decision. Because now this is 2 huge deals. I mean, they got away with it at Daytona. So it's kind of like you got away with it once, why play with fire? Apparently NASCAR knew what they were looking for, or they spotted it. Was pretty evident. We just still don't know what it is. I heard Chocolate Miner say, you have an idea? Okay, then let's hear it.
Well, I mean, I was listening to Sirius XM on Dave Moody, and they were saying that it was possibly a repaired body panel that was not approved, and when it was found, it was not that's basically, manipulating an object that's not been approved by NASCAR. So I don't know the truth to that, but it was possibly a damage.
I heard it was a rear fascia.
Yeah. So I guess that's the same thing, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard, and I think it was on Moody as well. But obviously NASCAR's not going to take you back to the R&D center if they don't have an idea. And in reality, think about this. You know that NASCAR, they're taking however many they take back, however many they look at, and then they're taking one at random. Do you really want to be that random? Is it really worth the $100,000 fine, the 100 points, possible 10 bonus points? Because he only loses 10 bonus points if he makes it into the final 16.
Well, if you consider the standings, they're gonna take that risk.
$100,000 is nothing. They have it. It's the points they're going to have to make up. And that essentially puts them, a race and a half back? I mean, they have to win 2 races. He has to win a race and be in the top 30. If he wins a race and he's 31st in points, he ain't going nowhere. That win was for nothing. Except the paycheck. So, risking that, is the risk worth the reward? It isn't now. 10 years ago, sure it was. Because NASCAR would just come in, slap you on the nose like you do your dogs, tell them, no, don't do that again. They let them keep the win, but they dock them points. Well, now, they're docking you points. They're fining you. Is the risk really worth the reward? I say no.
Yeah, I mean, and I like the fact that they're not discussing what it is. Leaving us suspicious minds, I think, is the way to go, because now people still don't know the threshold that they're being kept under. So, it'll hopefully defer other race teams from doing the same thing. Also, in Black Flag news, Bubba Wallace, he lost quite a few team members, and for a loose tire. Guys, I'm going to Talladega. I'm kind of NASCAR's gotten me worried with these loose tires. Should I be worried?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how you have a loose tire with one lug nut. This one lug nut thing was supposed to make it better. I figured we'd talk about the loose lug nut maybe the first week. Then after that, maybe the second week once or twice. But then it would be gone. It's every week one of these teams is losing a tire because some idiot can't get these lug nuts tight. It's one lug nut, guys. It's not 5. It's not 6. You know what? I am really glad that these guys are not putting lug nuts on tractor trailers.
Well,
no doubt. I thought that these lug nuts were supposed to have an anti-lock on them to keep them from being able to roll back, but obviously we were wrong about that as well.
Yeah.
The deal with the lug nut thing, I know one team had the issue of their gun kept them like rounding up and couldn't tighten the lug nut or loosen it. So, I mean, we could say it's a lug nut issue, but could it also be a pick gun issue too?
Yes, definitely could be. That's something that I think is issued, a NASCAR-issued part, and we've seen this before with issued parts that were not, up to standard. So maybe we'll see something happen here. I know that I don't want to be in the grandstands with cars going 190 miles an hour around a 2.5-mile road, the racetrack, and have the possibility of a tire pop off and land up there in the stands in our lap. I just don't think we should have that to worry about. And I'm not saying that this one lug nut theory should be scrapped and thrown away, because I think that that's going to be impossible with the way the car is. This is something that's going to be here to stay. So let's just make sure that we're making the right safety. Even if we have to put bungees on these tires to keep them from rolling off, I don't want to see somebody in the pits or somebody in the stands get killed by a loose wheel.
No, it's not a good time to leave me loose wheel. Not with these cars going as fast as they're going now, as tight packs as they're running. I mean, I will say that I like this new car. I like the raciness of it. I love the fact that it gives teams like Trackhouse, Front Row, and I shouldn't even say the underfunded teams, but it gives the teams that we wouldn't have talked about so much last year. This year, they're getting a lot of face time. They're getting a lot of camera time. They're getting a lot of media attention, both print and visual. And I think that's exactly what NASCAR was going for. And with that, they nailed it out of the park. Now they just need to get this tire thing under control.
Right.
And I think once they have that, then I think we're going to be good to go.
All right. If anybody else got any Black Flag news, we'll go into Checker Flag news. Taz, you got anything for Black Flag?
No, I kind of touched up on the BK deal.
All right. So the Checker Flag news, I guess my Checker Flag goes to NASCAR for going in and getting a Formula One racetrack and basically putting on one hell of a show and a great weekend for fans. We definitely have not had the turnout that F1 had there, but we've had a good, solid turnout, and it's been great racing. They have had to make some changes to the racetrack to make it more I guess we've seen last year cars really get destroyed with the turtles and stuff like that were there. But I give for all the powers to be at Cota for opening their doors and allowing NASCAR to come in and make a great race. I promise you, we got a better race there than what we would have at Texas Motor Speedway. So my Checker Flag definitely goes to the powers that be and Mr. Bruton and Marcus Smith for going over there and getting us at a top-notch facility like the Circuits of America.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Checker Flag definitely goes to NASCAR for putting on a heck of a race weekend, bringing it to last year, as they said, last year was kind of a test. Now we'll have to see because they brought it back this year. Now, will they bring it back next year when the schedule is out? My other checkered flag goes to Trackhouse for an amazing season so far, and then capping it off with Ross's win this weekend. It just shows that the look on Justin Mark's face and the excitement that he showed was just amazing. I mean, he was generally happy. I don't think he was shocked because he knew how well Ross ran. But, I mean, kudos to them for their program. I heard somebody say today, do you think that Ross Chastain could be considered a road course ringer? Just because you win a road course race doesn't mean you're a ringer. That is not in my eyes.
Hold on. Where I was kind of thinking of that was because Bowman and Chastain were running up front. Well, Chastain was running up front more than Bowman, but being that both of them were hanging in there with Allmendinger in the front of the pack for a good portion of that race, if not all of it, could you start maybe considering them into that category, or would you maybe say give it another road course and see if it's the same deal? You never know.
I have to say, honestly, let's wait until we're done with all the road courses in the year, and then we take their average finish and we see where they're at.
Yeah. Hey, look, you said something that, Craig, I have thought about since I was a young kid. I would love to know and broke down who my short track champion is, who my super speedway champion is, who my road course champion is. I believe that we're missing something in highlighting these drivers for just giving that type of information out to our fans. And baseball, there is not a stat that they don't record. And there's a lot of things in racing that we really just don't pay much attention to. We should put emphasis on those road course racers who do really well. We should put emphasis on those short track drivers that do really well, because what that does is it brings one of these guys that doesn't finish well every week, and it all of a sudden puts them in a statistical marking so that maybe they can get a little bit of attention that, hey, this driver has developed as a certain type of driver. We right. Talk about the super speedway drivers all the time, and we can name them, right? Logano, Stenhouse, name a couple of them. Austin Dillon, Eric Amarola, Mikey Waltrip. He was the perfect example of a great super speedway racer. Those guys have earned that title, but there's really no recognition outside of the super speedways of who may be really good at something. I always thought Matt Diamondetto was a really good short track racer. He's one of those I think that we'll wonder what happened to in a few years because his career's kind of went south. But I thought he was a great short track racer. I thought Marcus Ambrose was a hell of a road course racer, but people did not realize how good he was on short tracks. Juan Pablo Montoya, he was a good super speedway racer. He didn't get a win.
And boy, could he wreck a jet car.
Oh,
a jet truck.
Boom. Oh, gosh. Right. But so that's how we feel about that. Do we have any more checkered? Taz, who does your checkered flag go to?
My checkered flag would have to go to actually A.J. Allmendinger. And this, y'all may think, why him? Well, you have to think of this guy who was running with, JTG in the 47 car for a while in his career. I think that's who owned it when he was in there. Yeah. Who came from nothing and only showed up at road course races, right? Comes out quietly, goes quiet, then comes back out of nowhere and is an Xfinity contender, and here he is in Cup level competing for wins in the Cup level on a part-time schedule.
Taz, I forget sometimes how young you are. And I can push AJ all the way back to the Red Bull team He was the second driver, the 84 driver of the
Yep.
Red Bull team.
Oh, yep,
Randy
I remember
Red
that
Bull
too.
And he couldn't qualify. He missed the Daytona 500. He missed the first 3 races, and at Bristol they put Mike Skinner in the car and set AJ aside. And Mike Skinner got the car dialed in, and they were able to qualify. And then AJ stepped back over into it. AJ then, when he left Red Bull, I think he was replaced by Scott Speed. He went on to, I believe, race at Richard Petty Motorsports with Air Force as a sponsor. Well, he did really well at Richard Petty Motorsports, so well, for the matter of fact, that when Penske decided to fire Kurt Busch, he signed A.J. Allmendinger to be his driver. And then, unfortunately, 6 months later, A.J. Allmendinger failed a surprise P-test, and that's how he kind of wound up where he was. So he had the opportunity to be in the car that Giggles, Logano, has become a champion in. And so that his whole career finally took off after such a hard ride to the top. Because, look, this guy was a successful Formula One racer. He's one of the few that have actually made the crossover and been successful at it. The thing about AJ now, guys, that's the biggest thing. I agree totally with this checkered flag. Is his story of redemption and his way back to the top, and how humble he's been. I didn't take his comments as being a smart ass or ill will toward Ross Chastain. I looked at it as a seasoned veteran that knew what to say in front of the microphone, but probably felt completely different on the inside. He wanted to be mad at Ross. He wanted to be like, man, this is the sensei, when the sensei gets kicked in the nuts, by the student. And that's kind of, he put Ross under his wing and taught him how to be a good road course racer. And Ross, but you cannot beat a man for trying to win a cup race. That's what we're trying to say, and we've been trying to say. It's so important for these guys to win, and it's such an emphasis on the word win that you cannot blame a guy for taking whatever measures possible to get that win. And I think that AJ, the veteran that he is, he understood that. He understood the assignment.
Yeah, I don't fault him for being upset. I love the way that he handled it. What was his quote? If you can live with it, then live with it, or something to that effect.
Hey, yeah,
well,
it's a shoe fit, wear it. That's kind of what he was saying.
Right. I mean, the same thing could be said if it was him.
He did make the first move. He did punt Ross Chastain. He did punt him. He did it the right way, though. I think most of us felt like he did it the right way. The old bump and run.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a good move. It just didn't work out all the way like he thought.
Checkered flag is in the books. Let's go to what's grinding our gears. Craig, what grinds your gears?
What grinds my gears about this weekend? Not a damn thing except the tire issue. I don't understand, and you talked about it earlier a couple minutes ago, and you said you're going to Talladega, and I happen to agree with you. NASCAR's got to figure this out, and that pisses me off. That upsets me because we've not figured this out yet. NASCAR has not figured out a way to keep these tires on these cars. And unfortunately, somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. I mean, at the road course, the guys are back far enough. The spectators are back far enough. But at these bigger tracks, where the fans are up close, somebody could get hurt, and NASCAR's got to figure it out. And I think that's what really irritates me the most is we're 6 races in, and NASCAR's not gotten this under control yet. So I think that grinds my gears more than anything.
Dad, what grinds your gears?
What grinds my gears? Oh boy. I don't think I have anything that grinds. Oh, wait a minute. Alex Bowman going on Twitter and blaming his truck incident on Stuart Friesen. Thinking Stuart Friesen was entirely at fault, and Bowman couldn't do anything about it because Stuart Friesen was leaning on him.
Wait, aren't we racing?
Yeah,
we're not playing patty cake, right?
Yeah. Well, what it is he has a chance to blame somebody else, and I think that's when you've got a guy who's got 7 Cup wins already. He really feels like he's important enough to say that. I remember a guy by the name of Kevin Harvick, I believe, saying that Ross Chastain sucks and ain't got no business out here on this racetrack. I guess what did he say about Ross Chastain a couple of years ago? I can't really remember the exact quote, but it wasn't all that great of a tone, and I believe that they become friends after that. And Harvick has actually done a lot of helping Chastain and all. So I wish Kevin Harvick would have made a comment about that statement that he made a couple of years ago, because it probably made Ross Chastain work that much harder.
Well,
what
grinds
my gears is why in the hell has Fox not paid Tony Stewart whatever they needed to pay to keep him as a broadcaster or make him a full-time broadcaster with Clint Boyer and Mike Joy. Geez, man. I mean, can we please? The guy is amazing in the booth, and he brings a totally different perspective. And he knows how, there were several things I've watched Tony over the years say. One of the things that that interests me the most with him, that I admire the most, is that he said, our cars, I guess our guys and our cars have decided to just wreck today. I don't know if he was saying that Clint Boyer had ownership, or he was just basically saying, it's not just my organization. It's everybody's that's up underneath me. So really, I admire that from Tony Stewart, that it's not my race cars, it's our race cars. But what grinds my gears is that Fox has not anteed up, and obviously he would be a great asset in the booth. He handles himself really well. He's got that respect. He's got that demeanor. If you could say anybody was kind of like Earnhardt in the garage, you'd have to say it was Tony Stewart, because Tony was never scared to speak his mind. And I agree, Miss Lee. She said Smoke doesn't want to be in the booth full time. He has his finger in too many other pies. I agree, but if you paid him Tony Romo money or $20 million a year, I think he would find time to come in the booth.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because he's all about them chicks.
Yeah. So we got our guests should be in the studio here in a minute, right? Hello?
Fire call. They're on a fire call at the moment.
Oh, okay. So anyway, let's just go to Luke. Let's just go to local stuff, if you will. Let's go to local stuff.
Dad?
Shall we?
Well, I'll save the breaking news for now in case they do end up coming on before we wrap up the show, and I'll let them know about it too. The Short Track Super Series, Elite Series, will run this weekend at Orange County Fair Speedway. It'll be the second round of 6, of course, paying $25,000 to the winner. The last one was Ryan Godown at Cherokee Speedway. And right now there's, of course, a number of guys coming on. I believe this is also the North Region opener. So for this race, the sail panels will be on these cars. And Honda Speedway Car Show wrapped up this past weekend at the Viaport Rotterdam Mall. A number of drivers came out to display their cars from the 4-cylinder division all the way up to the modifieds. So on Saturday, they had a couple autograph signings. We also had the Mohawk Valley Vintage Dirt Modified Series come out and have their own hallway, just showing their own vintage cars. And one of the drivers actually was letting some of the kids, or was letting all the kids get into his car and get pictures and stuff like that. So that's pretty much about it for now. Again, I'll save the breaking news for the other two, as long as they can come on before we wrap up the show. If not, then I'll have to kind of break it out.
All right. Real quick, didn't Dan Haslam, did you hear about that, Taz? I seen something about it. He was going to be the on-track announcer.
So Dan Haslam is the announcer for the Vintage Series. I'll be messaging Lori Fallis, the series promoter, and within the next few days, try to get her onto the show and have her talk about the Vintage division. We had her on last year. She was a great guest to have, and I talked to her during the show as well for a bit, and she said that she would love to come back on for the show and talk everything that's changed from last year to this year, and look forward to much more success going into the 2022 season. And Dan Haslam is the announcer, and he's also running part-time on a very limited schedule with this four-cylinder.
All right. So Hendry County news. This Saturday is the Hendry, Florida Late Models, the IMCA Mod Lights, the 4.6 Fords, the V8 Warriors, and the non-winged mini sprints. I don't see any results from last week or this past weekend up on their website. So I will say that they're slow getting those up on the website. I've reached out to him about it, but they're slow getting it out on their website and on their Facebook page. What happened down at good old Why Not, Chris?
We raced this weekend. I don't really have anything. We're racing this weekend. Just a weekly racing series. Reminder, guys, we're racing 3 times in the month of April, plus our Monster Truck Show is going to be the 8th and the 9th of April, so that's going to be next weekend. But we are racing this weekend, weekly racing series. So come out and enjoy the fun and watch some good old-fashioned stock car racing. We had 15 factory stocks, 17 factory stocks and 12 street stocks showed the field the last race that we had, along with several other classes as well. So just come on out and enjoy the fun and be a part of the family out at the House of Hook at Why Not Motorsports Park.
Nice. Chris, when do the buses run again? When do they do their figure 8 racing?
Well, we don't do a figure 8. We just do the around the track, and it's really just a staged race. But I can't really give very much. Yeah, unfortunately, Spanky blew up this past weekend packing the racetrack, so I'm not sure if we're going to be having any school bus races anytime soon. But most of the time, that's around the end of the school year when they do that. So we'll see what the month of May has in store for us.
Gotcha. All right. Where are we? Taz, you don't have any race calls to do this week?
No, with the car show, Brett Dale kind of chilled out. I do believe Super Dirt Cars Series, Brett Dale himself went down south for the Cajun Region opener, which if you listen along starting this Thursday, the Southern Dirt Track Report will be back on the 110 Nation Radio Network for another year. And they'll give that report on the show there.
When do they come back, Taz? Next week?
This Thursday is what Artie said.
This Thursday?
As in, yeah, this Thursday is in 2 days from Thursday. There's in 2 days.
My goodness gracious. All righty.
Well, that's good to know. I didn't know about that. That's awesome. We can help promote that. And oh, by the way, if you want to re-listen to this broadcast, you can do so on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple iTunes, iHeartRadio, the iHeartRadio app. I said Spotify. Is there any one that I'm missing? I know there's a few of them.
Spotify, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Apple, and any of your other favorite podcast listening spots. You can find us as 110 Nation Show is what you'll look for, and we'll be in the episodes under Race Chat Live. So you can also Google Race Chat Live, and we'll find our podcast as well. We are affiliated with the 110 Nation Sports group, and so when you see the 110 Nation, you think Race Chat Live.
I like it. So, yeah, that was a quick local segment. Now what, boys?
Well, I guess we can go ahead and go into our closing and stuff. Let's get out of here early tonight, guys. Let's cross our fingers and cross our toes.
Hold on. If we're going to try to wrap things up a bit early, then I guess I might as well just wrap up the news here.
Okay, go ahead.
If they get on, they will. If not, it's not a big deal. I did tell them that we were on till 10. So, but if we're going to wrap things up a bit early, I'll notify them, and we'll try to see if we can get them to squeeze with Luke next week. So in the New York Champ Kart Series, the NYCKS is back for 2022 for its second season. And the schedule will be released on the Facebook page. As soon as I'm done announcing this, the schedule is out for the New York Champ Kart Series, and we will start on Friday, June 24th at Dodge City Speedway in Cobleskill, or House Park. And then July 30th, we head to Action Park East out in Green, New York. That's a Saturday, I do believe, and that is one of the tracks that one of our guest that was on the show a few weeks ago, Brandon Clapperton, promotes and runs. Then we head to Paradise Speedway in Geneva on August 13th. Then on September 3rd, we head to Caroga Creek Race Park. September 23rd, that's a Friday night. Going out to Hannibal Cartway in Hannibal, New York. And then the last race is October 1st at Allegheny Memorial Speedway.
Where is that at?
That is about, from where I live, about 4 to almost 5 hours out towards the New York-Pennsylvania border. It's just above the Pennsylvania border.
Oh, so it's in Allegheny County.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to figure how far away from Gloversville, Johnstown area that is. So, all right, well, there you have it. It's the schedule. Did Caroga release their schedule yet?
Yes, they did.
What about Dodge City?
They did as well.
All right.
Caroga released their schedule 2 days ago, and Dodge City, I think, announced theirs like a week or two ago.
All right, cool deal. All right, Chris, I guess it's all you, buddy.
Oh, what are we doing?
Closing out and fan question picks.
Okay, yeah, we can get into the fan question. Let me get that pulled up real quick. Well, first, before we go there, I do want to talk about something real quick. I believe I shared it to you. The Denny Hamlin, right? Did I share that? What Denny Hamlin?
Yes, you did share that. You did.
Yeah.
Share
So
that.
we did talk about that. And Taz, did we answer the question that we were talking about on the live earlier today?
The road course ring question was is Chastain and Bowman into that category, or do we wait and see what they do?
Okay, we did answer that. All right, I was just reflecting back on. Okay, so Denny Hamlin said, in 2017 it wasn't okay. In today's world, high stakes, do whatever it takes, playoffs on the line, blah blah blah. It's all fair game. The game has changed, and it's just expected now. Everyone runs over everyone. Doesn't matter if it's for first or 10th. Congrats to Justin Marks and Ross Chastain. So that's Denny Hamlin basically saying, hey, it is what it is. Some people call him a crybaby. I'm not really sure if that's crying. I think that's just the honest to goodness truth. People don't race the way that they used to. We put a lot of significance on the wins. I think we did kind of discuss that earlier. But that was kind of my toasted tweet there for the week. And let's get to the fan question. I'm sure you guys will talk about the L1 penalty Tuesday regarding RFK racing, but it got me wondering. Question: I was reading about the recent L1 penalty given to RFK racing, and was wondering what kind of inspections do these cars go through. I knew there was a pre-race for sure, but it was mentioned that the modified single source part was found in a teardown inspection. Can you please explain what these cars go through pre and post race? Do they really tear them apart after each race? And I kind of think that you already alluded to that answer, Craig.
Yeah, I mean they use a laser. They don't necessarily tear them down. And I guess I heard it best explained today.
Well, now that car was through R&D, so I think it was torn down.
Well, but obviously it was something that they caught post-race, and they saw post-race inspection, or he could have been one of the unlucky draws for the week. And so lo and behold,
with the unlucky draw, allude to what you're talking about. Me and you both know this answer, but our fan questionnaire may not.
Okay, so NASCAR is going to take the first 3 to 5 cars that finish the race. Then they're going to draw one car from the rest of the field, and they're going to take it. Keselowski just happened to be the unlucky car. They run them through tech, and then they take them back to Concord. And they tear them apart, and they go through them, and they measure them. They don't want to find anybody. They really don't. But they tear the car apart. They look for things. He just happened to play Russian roulette with his car. And we alluded to this last week, Chris. You and I, we talked about this, I believe it was last week when I brought this penalty up, was that he said, let me do it to my car. Let's do it to my car, not Buescher's car.
Right.
I can handle the penalty. We can't handle it on his car. So, I mean, that's basically it. They're going to tear one car apart. Now, I guarantee you this, that they will be they were watching from Daytona on. If anybody says they weren't, they're lying. They were watching RFK from the start of the season because they didn't bust them on the tires at the beginning of the season, so they knew they were going to try to get him on something. It was just a matter of time before they pulled him up to Concord. Now, I said this earlier. Why would you want to play Russian roulette knowing that you're going to possibly get caught? Is the risk worth the reward? I don't know, because at the end of the day, if your car gets pulled up there, An L1 penalty, L2 penalty, $100,000. That's a huge chunk of change to lose. Could you imagine if that happened to a Justin Marks or well, I won't even say Pitbull. But I mean, Trackhouse. If that happened to them, how many times or Hamlin Jordan 2311? Why would you play Russian roulette? I just don't get it. You know, they used to measure these cars with a tape measure. If everything was in spec, they let them go. If something was off, they'd say, hey, don't bring this back again. Well, now, since the drivers and teams can't police themselves, NASCAR's policing them. And they brought in lasers. Now it's a luck of the draw or the unluck of the draw. So, you know, I hope that answers your question.
Well, and I'm not sure that they're impounding or taking very many cars to the R&D center because they know that these guys are short on parts. So they had to have had a suspicion or something to that effect that Keselowski, and if it was something on the rear of the car that was, you know, that could have been visible with the eye, it may or may not have been, but we don't know how NASCAR really caught Keselowski because we didn't find out about it until later on in the week. But definitely, it was a situation to where, you know, you're running 16th in points. Now you're at 35th. It's a complete game changer. Was the risk worth the reward? Dave Moody said it best earlier. He said, "I've never heard a team say they're going to change something to slow the car down. Don't know if they changed something to speed the car up or if this was just a rush-through process and they didn't get it approved or what. But it will be a costly penalty and a reminder that you're not playing your game. You're playing NASCAR's game. And they're not playing anymore. Yeah, when they bust your ass and send you to the back, it was nobody's fault but your own. So a lot of people took up for Keselowski. A lot of people were feeling like that the penalty was not worth, not suitable to the crime. But we don't know the crime, so it's hard for us to make that call as well. So hopefully that did answer the question. I do know that they go through a specific laser beam process in the beginning of the race. I'm not sure what the post-race is because they always burn the tires off the back of the car. So I don't think that they would go through the laser for that. But that is a good question. I will share with our fans the process as they go through the laser for pre-race tech for them to see that. That's a really cool deal. So that'll do it for our fan question segment as we move to our picks, I believe. I think I scored pretty well this weekend. John Hunter Nemechek finished second. Who did I have? A.J. Allmendinger got the win. I got my first win of the season. And not too shabby, Chase Elliott. I kind of picked Chase Elliott to hopefully jinx him. But I really could have used another win. But that wasn't how the cards played out. But at least he gave me a good point run. I'm still kind of back here in the back chamber. So I've got to do some hustling to kind of catch up with you guys. Thank God you didn't hit that trifecta. If you would have, I think it would have basically just put me out pretty damn early. So as we get ready to pick this week's, we're racing at Richmond, guys. I hate to give my Monday's headlines today, but I guess I need to kind of with my picks. My Monday's headlines today would be short tracks. We have a problem. And so I'm not expecting I'm expecting a Phoenix type race at Richmond. I'm not expecting the eventful events that we've had at all the other tracks. Richmond has been known to be a snooze fest, and it's been known to be basically a follow the leader racetrack. Now, how this package and how this car changes that, I'm not sure. The banking could come into question here, whether or not how good of racing it is based off the banking, because Richmond used to be a good racetrack. It used to be a fun racetrack. But that car was, it had a lot of downforce and was easy to turn. Maybe this car will be a little bit harder, and the guys can be up on the wheel a little bit more. With that being said, and basically saying that somebody's going to be up on the wheel, I think that we'll see somebody who likes to be up on the high side of the racetrack win. Now, we have just Xfinity and Cup racing, right, Taz?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have just Xfinity.
Yeah,
and Cup.
Craig got that one.
Okay. So I haven't seen a list for the Xfinity race, but I'm going to go with my gut on this one. Noah Gragson is going to be my Xfinity pick. He's a high side racer, does pretty well, able to keep her hanging up on the high side there. And I have been on this redheaded bandwagon for a couple of years now. I can't believe Ross Chastain got a win before he did. I would have never picked that. But, guys, we're going to have back-to-back first-time winners and our 7th different winner of the season. I'm going with Tyler Reddick as the winner at Richmond, guys. Gosh, I hope it don't cost me.
Wow. Surprised me, Reddick does. Interesting.
Yeah, well, my pick surprised all y'all last week, and look how it made out.
So,
all right.
who are you pitching
who's
and swinging?
Next?
Craig.
I'm next, huh? All right, so my Xfinity pick this weekend is going to be – I'm going to go with the Dinger. I think he's got something to prove after last weekend. I think he's going to come out. He's going to be hungry. He's going to be hungrier than normal. Guys, he's 40 years old? I heard that today, and I just about died. I did not think he was that old. I thought he was still in his mid-30s, so good genetics on his part. For my Cup pick, I'm going to go way out in left field. And I'm going to give you somebody that you don't necessarily think but I think you're going to get one of your Grizzly veterans this weekend to win. And I think you're going to go with, I'm going to go with Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is my pick.
One word, Bushy.
Bush.
So that is my pick. All right, who's next?
Next is Miss Lee, and she says Gregson on the Xfinity side and Kyle Larson on the Cup side.
Well, that's interesting. Oh, real quick, I do know that the Whelen Modified Tour is at Richmond on Friday night. No, thanks to Miss Lee for that. The Whelen Modified Tour is at Richmond this Friday night.
Sweet deal. Mr. CJ would be up next, and his picks are Sheldon Creed on the Xfinity, and he's going one word Bushy on the Cup side.
So he's aligning with me.
I guess so. Now, my picks. I'm surprised nobody mentioned him. When Chris said something about going on the JRM route, I was like, okay, I know where he's going, and I'm shocked he didn't go that route. Well, a little shocked, but being that he picked Gregson, I'm not entirely shocked. So, my pick for Xfinity is a short tracker from JRM, Josh Berry.
Wow. You got the guy, man. And I think he has success here. I think he's raced here several times. So, definitely a strong pick there. I I have to say that I'm solid with my pick, but if I had second choice, I would probably go the route that you did.
My Cup pick. Well, I kind of teased at him earlier, and I was thinking a Toyota route. I was thinking Truex, actually. Then I got to thinking, if Toyota is struggling again, then I'm going in the dumpster. And if I want to keep my lead, I can figure out how this will work. So I'm going down the Ford camp.
Don't tell me you're thinking about taking Harvick.
Oh, no. Not even the Stuart Haas direction.
No way. Logano.
You got it, Chris.
The usual suspect. You know, he's got to break out pretty soon here. Of course, he won the he did win.
He won the Busch Clash on the short track.
Clash. So that was a short track. Right. We're going through our short track swing now. We have Richmond this week, Martinsville next week, and Bristol after that. So this is the run.
He's got
that Joey
success
got
at Richmond, though, too.
Yeah. For sure. Yep. Awesome.
So,
awesome.
Our
Good
picks
pick. But
are in with, hold on, our picks are in with Chris and Miss Lee picking no aggressive, no aggression. Craig says Dinger the Ringer, Almondinger. I have Blueberry, Raspberry, Josh Berry. And Mr. CJ has Sheldon Creed. I have yet to come up with a nickname for him. On the Cup side, Chris says Lil Red, Tyler Reddick. Craig and CJ both say one word Bushy, Kyle Busch.
Bush.
I say Giggles Logano, Joey Logano. And Miss Lee says La, Kyle Larson.
La 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 Larson. La 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 Larson.
It'll be an interesting race. I really hope it is not a snooze fest. I hope it is not a snooze fest this weekend. And hey, if you guys want to do something, people listening, we do a race. Chris started it 3 weeks ago, a race thread. We all chat during the race and give our opinions. We invite you to join on that as well. Chris will share out the page. Actually, all you've got to do every week is change the name, and we are good to go. So I'll be looking for that on the Race Chat Live page this weekend. And, coming up next week, we have Dave Herrick and his wife, Ashley, along with Luke Krakowski. So should be a definite barn burner of a half hour. That'll make that half hour fly by. So, but Chris, you got anything else, buddy?
No, I think we're at that 30-minute break. So you can find us on Google Podcast. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Share the show, find the show, share the show. Support the 110 Nation Sports Show that's on Monday night. It looks like Southern Dirt Track Report's going to be on Thursday night. You can find Race Chat Live on Tuesday night. We'll be back again next week. Taz, close us out, man.
All right, this has been Race Chat Live, another Tuesday night edition. A little early tonight, but it is what it is. Next week we'll have Luke Krakowski. Hopefully we can get both David and Ashley to chime in as they'll have more NYCKS news. Luke will chime in as well with what he's got going on. And again, you can listen to us on Blog Talk Radio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcast needs, we're pretty much on. So, with that being said, we'll see you at the same bat time, same bat place. This has been the DJ Music Man, Craig Moore, the Caution Flagger Radio, Chris Creighton. I'm the Tasmanian Double Flaggers, Taz Taylor saying good night. We'll see y'all next week.
See you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night. What in the world is going on here?
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curve, flattening the hill. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow. Just a good old boy, they wouldn't change if they could. Fighting the system like a true modern day Robin Hood.